Peace, and welcome to the Tailored Healing Collective podcast. This is a space where we discuss everything sacred medicine, motherhood, healing practices across the globe, and transformation above all. It is my hope you take each story shared here and find empowerment in your own life, for it is here that we educate the mind to liberate the soul. I'm your host, Taylor. Welcome to another episode of the Tailored Healing Collective podcast. Today, I have Quantum Rob with us, who is going to give us a lot on his story and background on working with quantum energy. I know we talk a lot about transformation on the show, transforming our lives, but we really start a lot of that with our energy and the frequency and the vibration of the planet of which we're living on. So I'll allow him to go ahead and introduce himself today. Go ahead, Rob. Tell us about you.
Sounds great. Super nice to meet you, and what a pleasure to be on your show. It's exciting. I've been on a transformation journey, kind of like you have, in the respect that I've really learned a lot the last couple of years about frequencies in general. I'd say probably 5 years ago, I was clueless. My head was in the sand, and I was doing my job, and I was working and had kids and just watched sports, and I just kind of had my head into the sand. What's really going on in this world, and then also what's happening with things that interact with our bodies. And it's been really, really fun to go on a journey where I'm learning so much about our body and our God-given, immune system and the things we can do to help it. And it's been really fun.
Awesome. So tell us about what brought you on the path of becoming Quantum Rob, and tell us a little bit about what that is and what it means to you.
Yeah, sounds great. So I like I mentioned, I was in the corporate world selling enterprise software for 25 years. And I had a wonderful family. I still have a wonderful family, but I was just doing the corporate thing. And then the pandemic hit, and my sales job I got let go with the company that was working on, because we couldn't travel, right? So the sales team got downsized. And so I started working for my brother, who had a podcast. And his podcast was kind of waking people up to what's going on in the real world. And so I would say I was kind of what I call red pilled. I learned a lot about what's the truth that's going on in the world. And as part of his show, we decided, like, hey, let's help your community. Let's go build some health solutions for your community. So I went on this path to first go find supplements. I was like, okay, I'll just go create some awesome supplements that will help his community. His community were, maybe 50 plus women. I think it was a large majority of his audience. So I started crafting some supplements that would help them and help us. And when I went on that journey, I was introduced to a gentleman in Oklahoma who was helping me craft these supplements, and they were great. But then he's like, have you heard of quantum energy? I'm like, huh? I'm like, what's that? And I said no. And he's like, wow, I want to introduce you to this gentleman. So I think God led me to the gentleman who was helping me with the supplements. And then I think he led me to the gentleman who is the founder of this organization, who created these quantum energy solutions. And it's been such an amazing journey, because at first, when he told me what they do, I didn't believe him, right? And especially with my new reawakening of what's going on in the world, I don't trust anybody, and anything. I have to question everything. And so I went on this journey myself to say, okay, what is quantum energy, and what does that really mean? And man, it's been so exciting. And that's why I call myself, Quantum Rob now, is because I've just delved into this field of energy and frequencies and how our body interacts with these frequencies. It's really exciting to know that what you're doing, Taylor, and how much your audience probably knows. You're probably way more advanced than most people that I talked to, because most people were like me in the respect that they don't understand energy. They don't understand that you can impact it with other things, even like sound, like you do. It's just awesome what you do with that. And so anyway, to go back to the story, I started learning all about these frequencies, and we first tried these products on Rick's community, my brother's show, and said, "Hey, let's test it on his community. Let's see if it helps them." And one of the first products was a pain relief product. And so we submitted that, we sold that to some of the community and asked them their feedback, and the feedback was just phenomenal. We were getting stories that were just transformational, and that's kind of the heart of the company that we've created. Is we want to help people get off of big pharma drugs, right? Big pharma drugs are really, really bad. And as part of this deep dive into frequencies, I started doing a deep dive on the medical cartel. And so I don't know if you want to talk about that, but that's an interesting part of my story, is just learning how we've been deceived in our medical industry and field. It's just it's unbelievable. But so anyway, I started selling those products to the community, and they loved them. And we're like, okay, we found something that God led us to that we think is really going to help the world to get off of big pharma drugs. Let's go make a real business out of this. And that's how we started QE Strong, as the company that I own, and how I became Quantum Rob. So there's the probably way too long of a story.
No, thank you for sharing. But please elaborate a little bit on the medical cartel.
Yeah, so it's the more research I did. In fact, I've got some slides. I'm gonna share them with you. Let me get to this other view real quick. Can you see this? Can you see the slides? Okay.
Yeah, I can
great.
see them.
So I call it the great medical deception, because we've all been deceived, and this is coming from Rob, right? This isn't a expert opinion. This is Rob's opinion, but I think we've been deceived. And the whole I'm Quantum Rob. We talked about me, but I think the great hijack happened in the early 1900s with our medical system. It's unbelievable what happened, in the respect that the Rockefellers owned all the petroleum industry, and they wanted to take over other industries as well. One of them was the medical industry. And so when I delved into that, it was sickening, because I'm just like, this is not right. And I have a lot of people I know in the medical field. I know doctors, I know nurses, and there's some incredibly wonderful people, right, that are in that. But I think the foundation of what they've all been learning was hijacked in the early 1900s. And so one of the things that I was doing as part of that research, or the Rockefellers own 90% of the petroleum industries, and they realized that they could take these petroleum-based products, the drugs, the pharmaceutical drugs, and sell them for a very high profit. And so they wanted to try to squash things that were not, their drugs. And back in the early 1900s, over 50% of the medical colleges were natural. They're teaching you about about nutrients and about all things natural to help your God-given immune system. And they went on a tear over the next few years. They hired a gentleman that created the Flexner report. And this Flexner report is pretty amazing. They came out and just they said there's way too many medical schools. Some of the Flexner report, I think, is pretty spot on, but a majority of it was just their narrative of how they could change what happened. And what they ended up doing is they created these, American Medical, the AMA monopoly, where all these medical schools, they had to be AMA certified in order to be approved, and you couldn't get a job unless you went through their approved medical schools. And so they ended up squashing all of the natural medicines, and they ended up calling all these people who were natural practitioners quacks. Right, that's where that word came from. You've heard that term, right? Yeah, the term quacks. Yeah, and that came from back then.
That's so interesting.
Yeah, it's bizarre. So anyway, they did a really there was 10,000 herbalists, that went out of business back in the 1900s. That's a lot, right? That was a big part of the way that we were trained to be healthy. And now we not. Now the only way that you get healthy is through drugs. In fact, the more research I did, and one of the reasons why we created this company was we found out that most seniors are on, guess how many prescriptions that they're on average, a senior today?
I don't know. That's a good one. I'd say like maybe 10 to 12 prescription bottles.
Yeah, there's like a 14 or something, the really bad like that. It's like,
and I'm just picturing it in my head. I don't even know for sure.
Can you imagine that? I mean, just think about that. On the average, the seniors taking 12 different prescriptions every day. Right. And that's just amazing. It's just amazing, because what they do is you take a pill, and that pill causes another symptom, another problem. Then you're like, okay, doctor, I've got this problem. That doctor isn't trained to treat you holistically. That doctor is trained for one specific, they're specialized, right? They're specialized on this problem. So then they're like, oh, well, I can't help you. You need to go to talk to this guy. And this doctor is specialized in this, and he helps you with that particular problem. So he gives you a prescription for that. But then it causes another problem, right? And you end up going on and on and on. And like literally the average person is on 13 or 12 or 13 medications, just really bad. So, and then the whole pandemic hit, and just woke me up to how a lot of the natural solutions are being vilified. Right. And now we're finding out, like with ivermectin and hydroxychloroquine and other things like that those were valid solutions to the problem. And, they were just squashed. And I think that was really bad, is what's happened. One of the things that I hate the most is the 1 in 500 children end up hospitalized who've taken the vaccine. Right. And I'm not an anti-vaxxer. I think vaccines are great, but I think it's really eye-opening that most people don't understand that 1 in 500 children is really a lot, right? That have been had to be hospitalized because they got the vaccine. And I think if most parents like yourself, right, if you look at that and say, 1 in 500, that's a high percentage. Do I really want to give my child this particular thing? I don't care what it is, right? I don't care if it's water that you're giving to them and they have 1 in 500 chance of going to the hospital because you're giving them that particular thing. As a parent, you'd question that, right? So that really woke me up to what's happening. And then I really found out there's a lot of corruption and collusion with the doctors themselves. So the big pharma today is just an amazing monster. Like Pfizer is ridiculously large, right? Like trillions of dollars, and they've invested. I think they had $15 billion or something in profit with the pandemic. And this has really made me feel, depressed in the respect that 3 out of every 4 doctors have some relationship with big pharma. They either give them training, they give them free trips, they give them free drugs, they give them there's some benefit for 3 out of 4 doctors, right? And big pharma invests a ton of money in making sure the doctors are pushing the drugs. And they suppress the natural stuff, right? I mean, God gave us, as you know, He gave us this amazing, immune system, and the external energies like the sound that you do really can help affect our bodies, and we can heal ourselves. And our immune system is built that way. And unfortunately, our medical system has been kind of taken over. So anyway, that leads to my whole dive into these frequencies, right? So most people who I talk to don't understand them. Your community, thank goodness, understands them. But everything in our body, everything in the universe is made of atoms and particles, and our body is made up of energy, right? It gives off frequencies and it interacts with frequencies, like our cell phones, right? You're on a cell phone. Guess what you're using to communicate? You're using frequencies to communicate. So frequencies are just everywhere, right? They're all around us. And the sound that you do with your I apologize, what are they called?
The singing bowls, yep.
Yes, the bowls are amazing, right? And the sound that you make is creating a frequency. And there's good frequencies and there's bad frequencies.
Mm-hmm.
And the music industry, unfortunately, is recording all of our music in a bad frequency,
I
right?
heard a
And there's a
lot
healthy
about that
frequency.
recently. Yeah, it's
Yeah, and
crazy.
it is crazy, isn't it? The more you dig into this, and that's what I found fascinating. That I just started, peeling out the onion. Right, I was like, okay, there's one layer of the onion. Oh my gosh, that's interesting. Oh, let me peel it again. The more that I peel, and the deeper I go, the more fascinating I find our God-given body and how frequencies interact and help. And that's right where we have this heart. We're like, okay, things are kind of messed up right now. What can we do? Right. Well, we're a little small company, but how can we help the world? And we wanted to. I think I'm a man of God that has been put on this earth to encourage people and to help people with their bodies, right, and with their health. I was a runner back in the day, and I got hit by a truck when I was in college when I was running, and I'm just blessed to be on this earth.
Wow.
I shouldn't be here. I've had 3 or 4 near-death experiences, and that was by far my worst one. But through that experience, I just realized that God has me here on this earth for a reason. He could have taken me many a times, and he hasn't. And so I just keep saying, I'm here and I want to help people. And so I really did dive deep into myself, and I'm like, I'm an encourager, and so I want to help people. And that's what we're doing with this company is we've created these products that are using frequencies, and we encode these healthy intentions and frequencies onto these skin patches, and those skin patches interact with the energy system in your body to help people with common medical issues. So that's been super fun. And then here's the thing we talked about, like with those frequencies with sound, right? There's the good sound and the bad sound, 440 versus 432. You hear the music that's recorded today, it's all in 440. But if you hear music that's recorded in 432, it's just beautiful. And your body literally reacts physically to that music in 432, and it's beautiful. So I didn't realize these next two just blew me away as I was doing the research. It's like literally the positive thoughts that you have and prayer can affect an actual bottle of water. And I was like, what? Are you kidding me? So have you ever heard of Dr. Emoto?
I read the book. It was
Oh,
amazing.
awesome.
It blew my
Awesome.
mind. And I would do that with my
Yeah.
own water. I speak my affirmations into it. I keep glasses of water around the house and constantly just speak it into. I haven't actually crystallized it myself because I would love to
Right.
observe it, but I did, and it was amazing.
Yeah, God bless you. That's so neat that you've done that because some people I talk to is like, oh, come on, But when you do the research, it's like it's amazing, and it's so neat how these things work. And being a Christian and just the power of prayer is real, right? And it literally can affect other things. I think there's a supernatural relationship as well, but just our physical prayer and intentions over water crystallize the water. It's just like so cool. So those were fun things. And there's a Dr. Emoto experience. I'll explain it real quick for your audience who may not have heard it there. He's done a bunch of experiments, but the one I like is the rice one, where he had 3 bottles of rice and put the same amount of rice and the same amount of water in them. And then for 30 days, he did this experiment. One of them, he said, thank you to. And the other one, he said, you're an idiot too. Just negative, bad vibes to that one. And the third one, he ignored. And so he had those 3 bottles, and for 30 days, he did that exact same thing for all 3 of them. At the end of the 30 days, the transformation on those is unbelievable. It's fun to go onto YouTube and search it because hundreds of people have done the same experiment, and they get the same results. It's just really crazy how your intentions and your speaking and the frequencies of your voice communicate to external entities, right? It's unbelievable. So that's been fun to learn.
These
Right.
pictures are amazing, by the way. I will be posting this via YouTube for people to see as well. But the differences between the thank you, you're an idiot, ignore, like you're an idiot looks like a storm brewing, honestly, like just looking at it. So
It's nasty.
it's so
Huh?
interesting to see those feelings that must come up with that.
Yeah. Yeah, and you think about that when you're dealing with other people, right? You're dealing with your children, for example, right? If you have a negative interaction with them, it's that you're sending bad vibes, right? And so I think it's really important for us to understand how important that our intentions and actions have on external entities and beings. So I thought that was just fascinating. One of the things that we found with our product is the, the skin patches. They interact. We did these EEG tests. This is like one of those little EEG monitors you put on your forehead, and it checks the energy waves in your brain. And these skin patches, when you put them on, within 5 seconds, it interacts with your body. So it's really cool that you can prove that. But then, we put the positive intentions and the frequency on the skin patch. So like the pain one, for example, we want you to reduce your pain levels. And we've proven that it shows within 5 seconds that it starts helping with that. But then another cool thing that we do for people who are of faith, we've encoded 40 Bible verses on the skin patch as well. So we have positive intentions of the healing issue. And then we also include Bible verses, which we think is a big differentiator. And then the other thing I was going to say related to that was we want to use multiple senses, right? So as you're trying to help someone with pain, let's just take that as an example. We have these skin patches, right, that have those positive frequencies on them, and you put the patch on your body, and it connects to the energy system. But then we want you to use this prayer guide, and this prayer guide is something that you read out loud. So you're using your mouth, right? So using those same things like Dr. Emoto did, you're verbalizing something, you're reading it, and you're hearing yourself. So you're using 3 of your God-given senses in addition to the touch. So now you're using 4 to help you with your certain medical issue. And we've got solutions for 14 different products. Our pain one's really fun. I don't know if you've ever heard of His Glory and his ministry. Pastor Dave from His Glory is just an online pastor, but he's got a couple million followers on Facebook, so he's pretty big. But he had our product and hadn't used it, but he fell off a ladder. And he's like, ow, and hurt his leg. And he's like, oh, hey, I remember Rob gave me one of these skin patches. So he went and tried on the patch, and the pain went right away. And he's like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. So the other one he used was an allergy one. So he goes out into the field, for stress relief, and has this big field, but he uses a tractor to cut the grass, right? And when he's cutting the grass, all these, he gets allergies. He gets done cutting the grass, and his eyes are watering, and his eyes are swollen, and he's like, dang, these allergies stink. And he's like, oh, hey, Rob gave me an allergy patch. And so he put the allergy patch on after he did it, and the symptoms went away. But then the next time before he went out, he's like, hey, I'm going to put the patch on before I go out and see if it helps. And the second time he went out and did the field, he had no issues at all when he was doing the field cutting and when he got done. So anyway, that's been my experience with frequencies, and why I'm so passionate about them was just that story, right? I think our medical system was hijacked, just to summarize everything, right? And I think that we've taken away the natural solutions and remedies, and we just have suppressed them, right? And we've suppressed them, I think, incorrectly. I think there's awesome things in modern medicine. I mean, modern medicine is amazing, so don't get me wrong. But I think also there's things that we can do to help ourselves. And a lot of the healing practices that you do, Taylor, I think are amazing. They're fantastic, right? So I think that's what we should be doing, is utilizing multiple things that are going to be available to us to help us without having to take those 14 different drugs, right, that they're on. So sorry, that was really probably way too long, but I'm so excited about it. Can you tell?
Yes, and no, don't apologize. I love hearing about this, and I'm so glad that the audience is getting a chance to see it from all different perspectives because, we have a lot of people who are now coming into the perspective of frequency and energy, and everyone understands it from their own different backgrounds. But I think that
Yeah,
you detailed it in such a way that anyone can grasp the information and kind of take it
right.
and find ways to apply it to their own lives. So thank you so much for sharing.
Yeah. Yeah, you're very welcome. It's fun for me because, like I said, I was totally asleep to all of this. I was like, man, I was the first person that said when I got hurt, I'm like, what, open up the cabinet. What's the drug I can take? I need it fixed now. Right. And I didn't care about anything. I just wanted the symptom to be gone. And I'd take whatever drugs were there. Now, man, I've just transformed. It's like, hey, our body is amazing. God has given us all these tools. Why don't I go find something that's natural to help me with these things instead of going to the medicine cabinet? So anyway, it's exciting stuff.
Well, you seem to have definitely found your calling now. I did notice that you said you had near-death experiences before. Oh, we have a crying baby here with us too.
Oh,
And I noticed you said you had a near-death experience before. So could you tell
yeah.
us one of the most significant times that you ever had that kind of stood out to you and maybe brought you a little closer on this path to frequency and healing?
Yeah, I think the one that was the most dramatic was that car accident where I was out on I was a Division 1 runner. I just made the U.S. Junior National team, and so I was a really really good runner. I was like the second best in the country from 19 years and younger, and then
Wow.
we went on an international tour where the 5 different countries competed against each other, and I won one of those races, and I was so excited because I'm like, okay, I not only did I beat the guy that beat me in nationals, so I was excited for that, but then I beat all the other best runners from 5 different countries in that race, and it was my second year in college, and I was just on this upswing, and my coaches thought that I would be a professional runner. That's what my goal in life was, to be a professional runner, and I was just very passionate about that. And that next winter, I was out running, and in it was just a really cold winter day, snow covered run. Had hats on and gloves, and during that run, it was really dry. That was in Utah, and the weather was really dry. My nose was bleeding. I'm like, this is really irritating. But it was like a 10-mile run. So I'm like, okay, we're a couple miles out. Do we just turn around and go back, or do we finish our run? And we decided that it was me and one other gentleman, good friend of mine, and we ended up going out to finish that run. And on that run, we were out in a back desolate road, and this truck just came up behind us, and my friend was running behind me, and he heard the truck come and just dove into the ditch and yelled my name. And I had enough time to literally just turn around and say, I'm going to get hit. I said, I'm going to get hit. And, the truck hit me, 4x4 truck. So I'm out running, and the 4x4 truck slides right into me and hits me in the hip and threw me 36 feet. And 36 feet is quite a ways, but and I landed straight on my face. And so I just landed right on my head, and then my knees, and I was unconscious. And my friend came to me, and he's like, "Are you alive? Are you dead? What's going on?" I was unconscious. So he was really worried about me. He rolled me over to my side, and then he remembered I had the bloody nose. So he could tell that I wasn't breathing. So my bloody nose had run down to my throat and had clogged my throat. So here I am, unconscious, laying in the snow on the side of the road, and can't breathe. And so, how long can you live without breathing? Not very long. So after a couple of minutes, if he wouldn't have cleared my throat, I would have died. And it took the paramedics 12 minutes to get there. So there's no way I would have survived with that. So I think God had him there for me, and when they woke me up from the smelling salts, when the paramedics did get there, I was like, "What the heck is going on?" And that was my transformation from my goal in life to be a professional runner to, God has me here for a different reason. right? And so I've always been on the path of what is it? And I didn't know for many, many years. I'm like, what, God, what do you want me? You have me here for a reason. I know that for a fact because you saved me, right? And I believe I found my journey, right? This is my path. God has me on this path to be Quantum Rob, to understand quantum energy and to help explain it to people in a very simple way, but impactful way where they can utilize that to help themselves. And whether they use our company's products or not, is really irrelevant. I just want them to understand that there's alternative ways to help yourself. And we're going to continue to build solutions that are around those things to help people, because we just have this heart that big pharma is poisoning people, right? And big pharma is not your friend. Big pharma is there to make money, and we want to help people and have a big, passionate heart. So that's probably the biggest one of that near-death experience was really traumatic. And I realized from that point on, okay, why am I here? Right? I'm here for a reason, for sure.
Well, thank you so much, Rob, for sharing your powerful story of your own personal transformation and how you're doing this beautiful work to share with the world and really live out your purpose. So I really admire that. Are there any final words you'd like to leave with the audience today?
Well, I just, I'd love them to go check out our website. It's qestrong.com is our website. And, if there's stuff that you're welcome to go to Quantum Rob as well, quantumrob.com. I've just started a brand new blog where I'm starting to put information about the what's going on with the suppression of some of the medical information that's going on. And so you can follow me there. I'm on a lot of the social media places, but our website and QE Strong is probably the best way to get a hold of me.
All right, everyone. And I will link all of Rob's information in the show notes. I want to thank you again for being here today and sharing all of this powerful information. Hope to link again with you very soon in the future. And please continue spreading your message and educating people, because we're in this beautiful time of awakening right now where more people like yourself, and especially during this pandemic, we're waking up to things that are really going on and being brave enough to look underneath the surface. So
it's like the Great Awakening, right?
Yes.
Yeah, it's so neat. So I love what you're doing, and keep blessing people. It was so fun to listen to your mom. Listen to your last podcast. I was like, how cool is that you get to bring your mom onto a show, and that you're affecting so many women and so many mothers. That I think it's just beautiful what you're doing. So you as well, keep on your journey, and it's exciting to see your transformation and what you're doing and how you're being a positive impact on the world.
Thank you so much. So as always, this has been the Tailored Healing Collective podcast, and remember to let love lead the way. From the old, I have a crown of success. I am sure of what is coming, and let the universe do the rest. I don't know how, I don't know when, but I manifest what I want again and again. I don't know how, I don't know when, but I manifest what I want again and again. I don't know how, I don't know when, but I manifest what I want again and again. Time is a dimension that we enter when we choose to align with self that's divine. It first exists inside of our minds. I don't know how, I don't know when, but I manifest what I want again and again. I visualize my desires. I create with intention a new dimension. where reality is in my hands. I don't know how,